Okay, so let us look at forms in HTML. Okay, so forms are used to collect information from visitors. Yeah. Okay, so traditionally the term form as referred to a printed document that contains spaces for you to fill in information. Okay, HTML borrows the concept of a form, okay, to refer to different elements that allow you to collect information from visitors of your site. Whether you are adding a simple search box to your website, or you need to create a more complicated insurance application. Okay, HTML forms give you a set of elements to collect data from users. Okay, so we are going to take a look at these forms. Okay, and we are going to take a look at form controls. So for example, here I have some form controls summarized here, so that you can take a look. So the first one is adding a text. So text input, the first one is text input. Okay, so text input, these ones are used to put a single line of text such as email addresses and names. Okay, there is also password input, so like single line text box, but it masks the characters entered. Okay, it hides them. Okay, which or what we call masking. Okay, another one is the text area multi-line. Okay, these ones for longer areas of text such as messages and comments. Okay, we use these ones. So another form control is in making choices. Okay, so making choices, we use radio button, checkboxes, drop down boxes. So checkboxes, radio buttons are for use when a user must select one of a number of options. Okay, we can use radio buttons. And checkboxes are when a user can select and unselect one or more options. And drop down boxes when a user must pick one of a number of options from a list. Okay, so another form control is submitting forms. Okay, when submitting forms, we need submit buttons, image buttons, and file upload. Okay, so this one, file uploads, no, there are other things. Let us first work with submitting forms. Okay, when submitting forms, we use submit buttons. Okay, these ones are used to submit data from your form to another web page. Okay, and another one is the image button. This one, for this one, it is like class here, and these one are similar to submit buttons, but they allow you to use an image. Okay, so that's why I said they are class. Okay, they are advanced here somehow. Yeah? They are somehow advanced. Then another form control is uploading files. So which is file upload. So this one allows users to upload files, for example, images, documents, yeah, to a website, videos. Okay, so like YouTube, TikTok, like that. Yeah, they use file upload. Okay, so let us see how forms work. Okay, let us take a deep dive into to see how forms work. So how forms work? Okay, so a user fills in a form and then presses a button to submit the information to the server. So okay, you fill in the information and then you press a button to submit. So this one you fill in. After filling in, you press the submit button. Then okay, the name of each form control is sent to the server along with the value the user enters or selects. Okay, so the name of each form control, the name. So these form controls are given names, and after you clicking the submit button, these information, the name and even the value that you have entered, is submitted to the server. Okay, so and after submitting to the server processes the information using a programming language, okay, which are called the server-side languages such as PHP, C#, VB.NET, Java, Python, JavaScript. Okay, those languages, server-side languages. It may also store the information in a database. Okay, so that's what happens after submitting. Then after that, the server creates a new page to send back to the browser based on the information received. Okay, so I think you have got into some simple back-end development. Okay, but let us forget about that. We shall see that in the later video. So let us see. A form may have several form controls, each gathering different information. The server needs to know which piece of inputted data corresponds with which form data. That's why each form control is provided with a name, and that value the user enters, they are all sent to the server. Okay, they are all sent to the server, the name and even the value. Okay, so to differentiate between various pieces of inputted data, information is sent from the browser to the server using name-value pairs. In this example, the form asks for the visitor's username and also for their favorite jazz musicians. The name value pairs sent to the server are, for example, here we have a username and the value is Ivy that the user has entered, and even the vote is hobby. So if the form control allows the user to enter text, then the value of the form control is whatever the user has typed in. Okay, so if the form controls allows the user to choose from a fixed set of answers like the radio buttons, the checkboxes, drop-down lists, the web page author will add code that gives each option an automatic value. Okay, so you should never change the name of the form control in a page unless you know that the code on the server will understand this new value. That you should know that. Yeah, you should know that. So let us take a look at form structure. Okay, the structure of the form. Okay, so let us take a look. Let us go into our code editor. Okay, and bring out our browser here so that we can run our code. Okay, so let us have them like that, and after there, so let us take a look at the structure of a form. So a form has the form tag, which defines that we are going to create a form. It looks like that, form tag. So this form tag form controls are live inside a form. Okay, a form element. Yeah, okay, this element here should always carry the action attribute here, and we'll usually have a method and the ID attribute too. Okay, so for example here it should have the action. No, it can accept here. Yes, it can accept, but let us not look at that. It should have the method. For example, the method that we want, there are a lot of methods. Post here, there is post, there is get here. So the method, you should specify the method. This one method. So here for form submission, we should use post or get. We can use many, but here let us use get. We can use get. Even there is also action, which specifies where we want to send that data. So action, like that. So here we put inside these quotes, we put there the link where we want to send that data to. Yeah. Okay, so let me leave that. Then from there we specify this action. This action. So every form element requires an action attribute, and its value is the URL for the page on the server that will receive the information in the form when it is submitted. Okay, this one. Okay, this one, the link here, it will receive the information, okay, when the form is submitted. Okay, and this method attribute can be say this method attribute, its importance here is that it specifies, like it tells the server or that what method are we using. Okay, what method are we using and what data should we get out. Okay, so forms can be sent using one of the two methods, the get and the post. Okay, those two methods. Yeah? With the get method, the values are from the form are added to the end of the URL specified in the action attribute. Yeah? The get method is really for short forms. Yeah, it is used for short forms such as search boxes. Okay, and when you are just retrieving data from the web server. Okay, not sending information that should be added here to or deleted from the database. Not that. Okay, So it has a lot. Even the ID, you can even provide the ID. Give this form the ID. You can give it a class name. Okay, so let us look at another one. Let us look at input, text input. How can you input information? There are different information that we provide to this form. Okay, so let us look at, in order to put input information, we use input. Yeah, we use input like that. Yeah? We use that input. Then inside here there is an attribute called, there are many attributes in fact. So for example, let us look here. If I try to do that, we can have many attributes like type, it can be email. You can see it can be input, can be checkbox, it can be hidden, it can be image, it can be math, it can be number, it can be email. Okay, there are a lot. It can be password, it can be radio, it can be range reset, search, submit, all those types. It can be all those types. Okay, so let us leave text, this one for telephone number. So text, let us leave that text here, there. Then here it can also, this one, it can also have another attribute, which is the name. It should also have a name. Okay, it should also have a name. Okay, you should be aware of that. It can have a name. So this is the name. Okay, so another one, it can also have a max length. For example, for description or for title. Yeah, it can also have a max length. So you can put there max length, the maximum length that you want this information, this text to be. Okay, it can also have the size. Okay, and the size attribute should not be used on new forms. Okay, it was used in older forms to indicate the width of text input. Yeah, okay. So for example, the value of 3 would create a box. Yeah, a box wide enough, yeah, to display 3 characters. Okay, when we use size 3, okay, and if we use that, okay, it will create a box to create like that one, a box of a some simple small size. If we specify 18, okay, it gets longer. Okay, like that. So we can also use the size. And let us look at password input. This is just for text input. So let us look at password input. So to use password input, we also use the input. Remember, we want to input information. We use the input, but here under type we change and we put password. So this input is for only passwords. Okay, then the name, we can provide the name. The name doesn't change. Name can be password, like that. It can be password. Then size, we can put size. Max length, we can also put max length. Okay, let us look at another one. Another one is the text area. So this text area, for it we don't use input, we use text area itself. Text area, like that. Then we give it a name like description. We give it a name, description, and we give it desk ID. We can here we provide like a hint text, like put text here, put description here, like that. Put description here, and if we try to save, I think we get our input. This is for password. I think it is like masked. It is masked. Yeah, you cannot see the text here. This one you can do it. This one, when you input the text, you cannot see the exact text you are typing. Okay, so here we can change this one. This is just a hint text. Put the description here, and we can put our description there. Okay, so let us look at another one. Let us look at radio buttons. Radio buttons, for them, let's look at radio buttons. Okay, so radio buttons, for we also use input. Okay, we also use input like this. Input tag, input, like that. Also is input, and we provide the name, the name of the attribute which is sent to the server. So we should provide the name here, name which is gender, like that. We can provide gender, and even we provide a value, the value attribute which indicates the value that is sent here to the server for the selected option. The value of each of the of the buttons in a group should be different, so that the server knows which option the user have selected. So for example here, if we have like the value here can be true. Let us write true like there, like let us put male, yeah, there. But you are going to note that, and even we can have a checked, and the checked attribute can be used to indicate which value, yeah, if any, should be selected here when the page loads. Okay, and the value of this attribute is checked. Only one radio button in a group should use this attribute. Okay, so for example, we have our data here, and when we do this, so here we have the name. The name should be the same. You should know that the name should be the same, and the value should be different according to what we have had. It should be different. Yeah, the name. Yeah. So, and even the checked should be like, for example, if I do this like this, I should give them, let us create some multiple radio buttons, paste there. The type they should be radio. Even here type they should be radio. Here male value, let me make female, then gender, we don't know name, the name should be the same. And if we save and we go back here, we have, so here we can also have a type name value. Okay, so with that we can also have like the text here to specify that this is male, for male, this one for male, and this one is for female, so that the user can see female, as you can see here. And if we select this one and we select, I think if we set this one to different names like gend, let us set to gend. If we send it to that, I think if we can say if they have different names, we can select all of them if they have different names. Okay, but if they have the same name, like this one, if they have the same name, when you select this one, the other one unselects here, remain unselected, and we select this one remain unselected. Okay, so that is the use. You should notice this one. You should not notice this one. Okay, so let us look at checkboxes. So to use checkboxes, let me bring some line here. So to use checkboxes, we also use input. Okay, so let us see how we can use the input. Then here under the input, we specify the type that it is a checkbox. Okay, we specify the type that it is a checkbox. Then we give it a name. Name should be like, let me give it a name. Which name can I give it? Which name? Let us give it service. Let's give it a name of the service. Then we should give it a value which is like what value can we give it? Let us give it iTunes like that. Then let us create multiple ones. Let us create multiple. Let us copy this one, paste there. So iTunes, then here we should have like checkbox, name service, name it is equal to service. So here we can give it the same name. Yeah, let us give it the same name. Same name. Here we have the service. Here we can give it the name, same name. Then we give it a type. Then we should give it different values, and we see what is going to happen. So let us give it different values. So when we give it different value, here we can have Spotify, and here down here we can have we can have which is last fun. Let us have last fear, last fun, like that. And if we try to see what's going to happen, okay, we have forgot to give it, so let us give it iTunes, Spotify, and can give it last fn, save. Then if we try to see, I think so here we can select all. Okay, here we are able to select all, to select these ones all if they have the same name. Okay, so if we do this, let us test if these ones have different names. So if we select this one, and select this one, they are all going to select. But when it comes to sending to the server, this name, you should be aware that this name is the one that is going to be recognized. And if we get the value, we shall get the value. Okay, so this value, the value attribute, it indicates the value sent to the server if this checkbox here is selected. And we can also provide the checked attribute, and this checked attribute indicates that this box should be checked when the page loads, and it is the value, it's a value should be checked. Okay, this one we haven't looked at the checked. We can look at the checked here, and it can be like when we use this checked attribute, we should also provide that this text like checked, this one checked. And if we provide it, we're going to see that this iTunes will be checked when the page loads. Okay, by default it is being checked. Okay, this one. Okay, so I was explaining this one. You know, they have different names. These ones, if we check this one, if we check all, these ones which have the same names, they are going to be grouped into like a list. And this one which have its own name, it is going to have only one value. Okay, that one. Okay, so we have seen the input, we have seen the checkboxes. So let us take a look at a drop down list boxes. Okay, so to use drop down list boxes, we use the select. Let us take a look at select. Okay, let us look at select. This one, select this one. They select a drop down list box, which is known as the select box. It allows the users to select one option from a drop down list. Okay, and this select, this one, this select element here is used to create a drop down list box, and it contains two or more options elements. Option elements. Okay, so it should have a name. It can have a name. This one, it can have a name, and the name attribute, the select element, it can have a name. It should have a name, and this name attribute indicates the name of the form control being sent to the server, along with the value the user selected. Okay, so let us create it. So select, and it should have multiple options, like option value. It can be like English. Let us have some subject here, English. This is the value that is going to be sent to the server. This value, it is the one that we send to the server. And the name, the select should have a name. This name, remember, we send values to the server in terms of name value pair. Okay, this name, we can have it like subject. Okay, subject you select from these options. Okay, so let us create more options. Option have the value. So let me copy. So we have created multiple options. So let us see what is going to happen. If we get here, I think the value, the default value is this first one, this first value, okay, English, which is English. And if we do this, we're going to see multiple options. We can select from all these options. So chemistry, you can select chemistry, you can select bio, we can select physics, okay, you can select math, like that. We can select multiple values like that. And it can also have the selected. For example, if we want to change this default value, this one, so if I try to save this default value, which is English, okay, if we want to change the default value, you know, I like physics, so I can put selected. Yeah, I can specify here selected. So this one is going to be the default value, physics. Okay, so let us see. I think physics, it is the default value now. Okay, this one, it is the default value. Okay, so we can change to English. Okay, that's how we can use the selected. Okay, so we can even use multiple select boxes. Okay, so let us get to start using multiple selected boxes. To use multiple selected boxes, we use multiple. Okay, and this multiple can allow users to select multiple options from the list by adding the multiple attribute with a value of multiple. Okay. Okay, so let us take a look at how we can use multiple selected values. So here, what we do, we are not going to repeat. Okay, so we are not going to repeat. What we are going to do, we are going to copy all of these ones, copy all, go down here, paste it there. Then inside this selected, we remember we need to provide some. So we can provide the size. Let us provide the multiple. Okay, let's provide this multiple option, multiple. Okay, and if we bring this one multiple and we save, let me show you what is going to happen. We can select multiple like here. Let me show you. Okay, here we have already selected all. Okay, so let us select each by each, one by one. Okay, so let us provide here multiple there. Okay, let us see what's going to happen. Okay, so here after selecting, we can make these ones all. We can make all selected. Okay, so let us provide more. Okay, so let us provide selected. So we should provide all of these ones. So selected, if we copy this one, we can provide it here. Also give it to this one, and also to this one, also to this one, and we save. And if we try to see again, I think all the values are selected, so it's our choice to choose which values we don't want. So we can select all. I think we can select all by pressing shift and the arrow keys to select the values that we want. If we don't want, we can select all, and if we don't want some, we can press Ctrl, and then we remove math, we can remove physics, we can remove can put again English, like that. So that's how we can use multiple selected box. Okay, so let us see how we can input files. Okay, so to input files, we use the import, then the type. Here we specify that it is a file. Okay, we give it a name, the file, let me give it file, is a file. So that's how we can. And this type file, the type file creates a box that looks like a text input, followed by a browse button. Okay, and when the user clicks on the browse button, a window opens up that allows them to select a file from their computer or phone, okay, to be uploaded to the website. Okay, when we save, and we take a look at what is going to happen. So here we have the no file chosen. Here we can browse. I think if we click here, I think if we click on this one, choose a file, we can get. If we click here, we can also get. So that's how we can, yeah, we can get, yeah, that's how we can get a file from the user. Okay, so let us look at submit button. Okay, let us take a look at the submit button. So here in our form, so we have the form here. So this form can have the submit button. So we can create it like this. Yeah? We can create a button and then we give it a name, that submit. Okay, so for example here, let us create, we can create also input, and we make it that submit. So for example, let us have an input here, type, it is type can be submit. Okay, name we can give it submit, id we can also give it submit. Okay, so if we do that and we see what has happened, so I think submit. Okay, we can now submit our file, and if I click, I think the URL has changed, which means we have submitted our file, our form. Okay, our data. There's also another way to use it. We can use a button. So button here, we can create a button here, and we give it submit. This is the text. Then here we put the type. It can be a reset, it can be button, then we want submit. Okay, we can also create a submit button like that, and if we see, I see we get the same results. Okay, that's how we can do it. And there's also another way we can create a image button. So to create an image button, we do like this. Yeah, create image button, we do like this. We create we use the input like this. Oh, no, let me create input. Then here type, we specify that the type, it is a button, it is a image. Okay, so from there, after there, we can now after doing that, we can now we can now provide the source of the, remember this one here, it is an image button here. So we can also, this one can also have a source, and this source can be an image. Let me see if I have some images. No, I don't have, so I have to go and upload some images. So from my desktop, I have some pictures. These pictures, let me select this one, copy. Then I'm going to come inside here, and I'm going to paste it there. So paste, yeah, let us paste image 1 there. So this is the image. So let me come source image 1. So source have provided that image 1, and from there, after doing this one, we can even specify the width and height. Width we want like 100. No, let us set like 50, and even the width, height it should be 50, and the width should be something like 200. Is it? Yeah, let me say 200. Okay, so let us try to see what we are getting out. So here I think we are getting, this is a button, my guys, this is a button. I think if I click it, I think what we are getting. Okay, so here you can get even if you have a button which is a subscribe, if you have a small image for a subscribe or for submit, yeah, an image, yeah, which has a word submit, you can also use it. Okay, you can also style it using CSS. We shall see that when we start using CSS. Okay, so let us look at labeling form controls. So remember, when introducing form controls, the code was kept simple by indicating the purpose of each one in a text next to it. Okay, so however, each form control should have its own label element. Okay, as this makes the form accessible to vision impaired users. Okay, So the label element can be used in two ways. Okay, it can first of all, it can wrap around both the text description and the form input. Okay, as shown here. Okay, so it can wrap up this one, the description and even the input. Okay, so as I saying here, you can try to copy this code. Yeah, you can try to type this code and also test it yourself. Okay, so as this will be helpful, okay, to you. So are you seeing this label? It is wrapping, okay, up this one, all of this one. So here label, no, I should remove this one. Okay, so let me remove this one. Okay, Control C, Control Z. Okay, so are you seeing it is wrapping up all of these ones? It is wrapping up this one, and even it is wrapping up the description, which is the edge, and even the input. Okay, the input, okay, tag. Okay, as you can see, okay, from here up to here. Okay, so as you can see, and even the next way of using the label element, the next one, it can be kept separate from the form control, and they use the for attribute to indicate and they use for attribute to indicate this one, the for attribute. Which one? This one, the for attribute. Okay, this one, the for attribute to indicate which form control it is a label for. Okay, so as shown here. Okay, as you can see, this one, this label, it is for female, and the female and this female, it is a ID which belongs to this one, to this input tag. Okay, so this is another way of using the label. Okay, as you can see here, and when we try to run our code here, as you can see, gender, and even this one. Okay, as you can see, and even the label, this label female. Okay, this label female, which is for this input, which is a label of type, which is an input of type radio. Okay, as you can see, and this for and the for attribute states which form control the label belongs to, and you should not have the radio buttons use the ID attribute here. Okay, here, as you can see. So that's how we can use labeling form controls. Okay, so let us take a look at how we can group form elements. Okay, let us take a look at how we can group them. Okay. Okay, so when grouping form elements, we use two tags. The first one is the field set, and the second one is the legend. And with the field set, you can group related form controls together inside that field set element. Okay, and this is particularly helpful for longer forms. Okay, and most browsers will show the field set with a line. Okay, with a line around the edges to show how they are related. Okay, and the appearance of these lines can be adjusted using CSS. Okay, and we shall see that when we start using CSS. Okay, so here let us use the field set. Remember, we use the field set tag and even the legend tag, and the legend element. Okay, the legend element can come directly after the opening field set tag, and it contains captions which helps identify the purpose of that group of form control. So here let us put something. This one provides the caption. So here inside this field set, we are going to group all this information. Let us copy all of it, all of this information here. Let us Control X, copy it, go here, paste it there. So here inside, no, let us, even the legend can be below. Okay, it can be below, but for simplicity, let us put it above. Yeah? Okay, so above that information. So here we are giving out personal information. So personal information, personal information. Okay, so we are going to see the use of the field set, and here before we have this one. Okay, before running our program, we have this one. Okay, and if we try to run it, we save. I see So this field set, it groups all of this information, okay, inside this one, okay. It groups them together, okay, to show that they are related, okay. All of these ones, they are related, and they are related because they are personal information, okay. They provide personal information, okay. So that's how we can use we can group form elements together. So let us take a look at form validation, okay. We are going to take a look at form validation, okay. So with form validation, I'm going to create some form, okay. You are going to copy here, but you are going to follow me, okay. Here we have, let me remove all of these ones, and we are going to create an input type. It is a text, and here we are going to create this one. It is going to be the name. I'm not going to apply a lot of designs because I'm just going to work with validation. So here we have the f name. Here we have the first name. So first name. Oh, what's wrong with my typing skills? So first name we have there. Then here we have second name. I'm not going to apply a lot of designs. Second name, we can have input or Control Z. So here we can have input for text. Then here let us have a submit button, okay. Let us have a submit button, okay. Submit button. Whoa. And we have a button which is submit. Here it should be a type of submit, okay. So here, after doing this, let us try to save. If we save our file, we get something like this. Don't try to say that I don't know how to design. I know how to design, but it's not where I'm going to put my concentration. So we want to see how we can work with form validation, okay. With form validation, you have probably seen forms on the web that gives the users message, and message if the form control has not been filled in correctly, okay. And this is known as a form validation, okay. And traditionally, form validation has been performed using JavaScript, which is beyond the scope of this concept that I'm teaching you. We know we about HTML, so we are not going to use a JavaScript, okay. So validation helps ensure the users enter information in a form that the server will be able to understand when the form is submitted, okay. And validating the content of the form before it is sent to the server will help to reduce the amount of work the server has to do, okay. And it enables users to see if there are problems with the form, okay. So even the information that they are entering, okay. So when using validation, we use the required, okay. We use the required. For example, here down here we can use the required. So here we can come in our fields. So this one we can make it required. This one we can put a required there, and even this one required. So before we put them there, let me first remove them, okay. We save. If we try to submit, okay, look at the URL, okay. So if we try to click the submit button, okay, our form is going to be submitted, okay, even if we don't enter the information that is required, okay. Here, as you can see, it has been submitted, okay. So to reduce on these errors, let us go back. To reduce on these errors, we use the required attribute there. Required attribute there, okay. So if we use it and we save and we try to submit, are you saying please fill out this form, okay? We are getting that message, okay. Please fill out this form, okay. Even this one, if we try to save Rashid, and we try to submit without filling in the second name field, okay, this one, okay, and we submit, I think we get another please fill out this field, okay. And if we fill out all of the fields and we try to submit, I see our form has been submitted. Okay, so that's how we can use a form validation. That's how we can validate our forms. Okay. Okay, so that's how we can use form validation. That's how we can validate forms. Okay, so before we go to another concept, yeah, and before we go to another concept, I would like to show you this one. You know, there is a time where you saw something like, let us go back. So there are times, this one, let us return to this code, this one. You know, when I paused the video, I made some changes. Okay, so there are some things that I want to tell you here. You know, there are sometimes when you visit a page, yeah, when you visit a page, yeah, you see something like here, yeah, first name. You see a dummy text here, yeah, a dummy text that first name, or you can here when they show you that first name here, like that, yeah, like this one, first name here, first name here, name here, and you can delete and write your first name there. Okay, so to put that text there, it is called the hint text. So to put it there, we use what we call the placeholder attribute. Okay, inside the input tag, we put there the placeholder attribute. Okay, so here we can specify the hint text. So here we can say first name here. Okay, and if we save, we get this in text. Okay, first name here, it is there. Even this one we can put it there. So placeholder first name, second name here, like that. Okay, so that's how we can do it. We can do this to many input fields, yeah, for too many input fields, for example email, for example passwords, for example, yeah, or those, yeah, where those that require us to type something there. Okay, that require the user to type, we can use those placeholders. Okay, so there are many input fields. There are many type of input fields. Okay, so let us take a look at date. Yeah? I want to show you date. For date, okay, so for date we have here input. Let me create a date input, and here we want to use date. Okay, so date we specify the name, which is date, and the ID. Let us leave it. If we save, we get this kind. Okay, we get this kind for date, yeah? This one, this input field for date. But here, as you can see, if I try to type something here, we cannot type. Okay, we cannot write there anything. Even if I specify a placeholder here and I say date here, and I save, it cannot work. Okay, and for it we don't type there. Okay, text or information there, we don't type there text information. Okay, for here for this one, we just click this icon there and we choose the date. Okay, and if we choose the date like 23rd, here I see it is being put there. Okay, automatically. Okay, so that's how we can use date input. Okay, that's how we can use date input. Also, there is another one, which is the search. I want to show you the search. Even the search, you can use the search. Let me go here. The search that one, and name it is the search. Okay, so if we save and we have here our search, so this search can have a type attribute and can also have a placeholder. Okay, so that's how we can use forms. Okay, that's how we can use forms. Okay, that's how we can use forms.